Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So, the Justice Department just charged two Russian operatives who were running an influence campaign trying to influence Americans' opinions about the Russia Ukraine war and also Donald Trump's candidacy. You may have heard this story already, but I have a few new details to share with you, so stick with me here. These people, these two Russians, have been charged with conspiracy to commit money laundering, also conspiracy to violate the Foreign Agents Registration Act, known as FARA. And now, like I said, there's new fallout from this indictment. So I'm going to get to that in just a second. First, for anyone who doesn't know the details, I want to share some of this with you and some things that haven't been covered in mainstream media, at least not that I've seen, or independent media. Also, I've seen a few reports on this and some things I didn't see. I had to read about it in the indictment myself. So I did read the full indictment, and it's very interesting and shady. One of the most intriguing details of this case, of course, is how they were able to trick some very well-known MAGA commentators. You know, they were used as Russian puppets. And they were paid, these Russian paid useful idiots got $100,000 per video to push Russian propaganda. That is obscene. That is an obscene amount of money, and it should have been a red flag. I guess they were just happy to cover their eyes, though, and cash the checks. So here's the deal. Two Russians hired an American company called Tenet Media. Now, they hired them to create and distribute videos for a supposed businessman named Edward Grigorian. So this was a person who was willing to pay them very handsomely millions of dollars. In total, they received almost $10 million. It was laundered through shell companies in Turkey, Dubai, a bunch of other foreign countries. But this so-called businessman did not exist, and it was pretty damn obvious, too. I mean, anyone with a brain would have known this. So no one involved ever met or spoke with this Gregarian guy, and his resume was filled with basically generic corporate speak. Also, Gregorian had no online profile, which we all know. I mean, that is unheard of in 2024, especially for someone who they claim to be the, quote, director of private banking division and wealth management at a multinational bank. Seriously, that guy doesn't have any online profile, no footprint whatsoever, not a LinkedIn profile even. So anyway, the owners of Tenet Media just didn't care. They did not care. Tenet, by the way, it was founded just a few years back by right-winger husband and wife Lauren Chen and Liam Donovan. And after they were hired by these Russians, they went and they employed some of the very most popular talking heads on the right to create these videos. So they contracted with people like Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, Benny Johnson. So they agreed to do these videos. But the I'm thinking of music already. Anyway, the DOJ hasn't charged any of these people, hasn't charged these commentators, because it appears they were kept in the dark. Let's be real, though. How did they not know? How did they not know that something sketchy was going on? No one makes anywhere near $100,000 per video in this business, even if a video goes viral. It just doesn't happen. Most YouTubers don't make even a fraction of that in a year. So that amount of money is just absurd. They should have known. They should have known that something was up. But, you know, I guess they buried their head in MAGA sand. And it's very clear Tenet's owners knew. They knew damn well that this was a Russian-funded operation, because in the indictment, the DOJ cited some of their private communications, and Chen and Donovan privately discussed the fact that they were being paid, quote, by the Russians. They said that. And then they also looked, this is really funny, they looked at Chen and Donovan's internet search history, And they found that there was this one time when I think it was Donovan, he had messaged the Russians and he was asking them a question about, hey, where's our money? You guys haven't sent it over, blah, blah, blah. Well, he didn't receive a response right away. He didn't get a timely response. And so he went online and searched for, quote, time in Moscow. Yeah, they knew. But they were being paid enough to look the other way, I guess. Chen and Donovan, according to the indictment, initially they were receiving $8,000 a month just to scout and secure on-air personality. So just to go out and locate these people like Tim Pool who were willing to do this. And then after they sealed the deal with the commentators, the Russians were sending Chen and Donovan $25,000 a month to produce this content and maintain the new YouTube channel. So that's where they were hosting these videos. They were putting them on other places, TikTok and so forth as well. But they had a YouTube channel. So it's curious that neither Chen or Donovan were charged in this indictment. And there's really only two plausible explanations. So either they're cooperating, right? They're working with the investigators, or they're going to be indicted separately, which could be. So we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, though, Chen was just fired from her gig at the right-wing news outlet called The Blaze. So she was a contributor there. She created YouTube videos for Blaze TV, but the CEO for Blaze Media told Semaphore news outlet that Chen's contract has now been terminated. So that was within a day of this indictment coming down. Blaze also deleted all of Chen's episodes from their podcast on Spotify, and then they scrubbed her contributors page on their website. So they're like done with her. Like they didn't even wait for the ink to dry on that indictment. They're like, nope. Gotta go out the door. So it was also just reported that YouTube has removed all Chen related channels from their platform. They apparently terminated Tenet Media and then 4 other right-wing channels that were all run by Lauren Chen. And according to one of their field reporters, Tenet Media, I can speak, they no longer exist. So a guy named Taylor Hansen, he was one of their field reporters, he announced on Twitter that he's looking for a new job and or asking people to help him fund his independent reporting. So evidently Tenet decided to close up shop on Thursday night, just one day after this indictment dropped. So this is not Chen's month. Let's just say, Chen and Donovan, this is not a good month for them. So, what I find interesting, though, is that Chen and Donovan are not U.S.-born citizens. They're living in the U.S., but they're from Canada. Why is the America First MAGA crowd not calling for them to be deported for doing Russia's dirty work? Right? If the shoe was on the other foot, they'd be freaking out. It would be wall-to-wall coverage, 24/7 over on Fear News Network and all the other ridiculous right-wing propaganda channels. That they would be demanding deportation. If these were left-wingers who knowingly took money from, let's say, China to push Chinese propaganda, they would be freaking out. So what I'm interested to see, and what will be fun to watch, is if maybe Tim Pool and the others decide to sue Chen and Donovan, right? Because, their reputations now and their credibility are questionable. We all knew that they were pushing Russian propaganda, at least it seemed like it, but their audience didn't know that. The people who believe in them didn't know that it was actual Russian propaganda. And then they claim that they didn't know. They're all playing the victim card. But now you have to wonder, well, what about the other content that you put out? Were you paid for that too? Were you paid large sums of money to do that? What else are you being paid to put out there? I don't know if you guys noticed, but I have never read any kind of ad on my channel. And I do that purposely. I get hit up every week now by companies wanting me to push their products. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to be beholden to anyone but my audience. That's why I always ask if you guys can help out with donations or, monthly subscriptions and so forth, because obviously, you can't work for free. As much as it would be great to be independently wealthy, I'm not. But yeah, I don't want to be told what I can and can't say or what I have to say, more so. That's the most important thing. And I just don't think that you guys should be hit left, right, and center with ads. You're already getting hit with ads on various platforms. So I find it sickening that, they would take these large sums of money and then do the bidding of even if it was just a businessman telling them what to say, how to say it, and these Russians were editing their videos. They allowed full control over the editing to these Russians. And then the company, Tenet, was putting out additional content that these Russians were pushing them to put out. Like that whole ridiculous video by Tucker Carlson, where he went to a Russian grocery store and showed how bountiful, their grocery stores were, how their shelves were so filled, and compared to America, oh, poor little America, help me, I'm poor. Come on, really? Even some of the Tenet producers called foul on this. They reached out to Chen and Donovan and said, hey, this seems like just plain old propaganda. What do you want me to do? They want me to put this on our channel. And Chen and Donovan were like, yeah, go ahead, do it. Do whatever they want. Knowing that these are Russians. So yeah, sketchy, shady people all around. Don't trust any of them. This is like, you can look back at Tim Pool and some of his coverage, blatantly, flat out saying that Ukraine is the reason Ukraine was invaded. That they basically, he's slut shaming them, like the right wing does with rape victims. Oh, they were asking for it. Ukraine was wearing a short skirt or top was really low cut. Basically that's what he's saying. I'm obviously making a joke, but that's the gist of it. So anyway, just sickening, obviously being used. We see it all the time. We see it with Tulsi Gabbard. We see it with Sucker Carlson, as I call him. All of these people, just sickening. So anyway, the old Republican Party is dead. Not coming back. Sorry, guys. Sorry, right-wingers. I hate to say that. I know you guys were hoping for it, but no. This is the direction. This is what they're sticking with. This is their story, and they're sticking to it. All right. Anyway, I will let you guys know when or if I hear more on this story. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, please share, and subscribe to the channel. Please donate if you possibly can. Like I said, not getting out that cash advertising dollars, that paper, as Melania would say. I need to get that paper. All right. Love you all. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye.